Dzień doberek, dzień dobry. Za chwilkę wywiad, ale nietypowy. Jak widzicie, laptop ze mną na biurku, a więc coś multimedialnego. Przenosimy się za chwilkę do okolic Chicago. Za momencik będziemy mieć połączenie z Renee. Renee jest dietetykiem, która przyjmuje w Stanach Zjednoczonych. Od 14 lat pracuje w zawodzie dietetyka i chętnie porozmawiam, poznam strategię, poznam różnice, zapytamy o mity żywieniowe, czy one tam w ogóle występują, z czym się borykają, jakie choroby. Ciekawi? Widzimy się po czołówce już z Renee na łączach. Cześć Renee. Ja jestem dietetykiem od 8 lat, od ponad 8 lat w Polsce. Bardzo jestem wdzięczny, że mogliśmy się spotkać tutaj na wideokonferencji. Moją inspiracją, ja ogólnie zacząłem zajmować się dietetyką wtedy, kiedy sam schudłem około 16 kg, zainspirowałem się bardzo tym wszystkim i postanowiłem pomagać innym. I od 8 lat prowadzę poradnię dietetyczną. I tutaj chciałbym też, abyś opowiedziała naszym widzom coś o sobie.
Yeah, so I'm Renee. I'm in Indiana, but I practice mostly in Chicago. That's where I became a dietitian. So I've been a dietitian since 2009. I love science. I love the body. I love food. So it's kind of just the perfect marriage between, all of them. I really love working with people. And I want people to feel really comfortable in their body. So obviously I'm really passionate about food and nutrition, but my big passion is helping people feel really comfortable in their body so they can go do whatever they want to do with their life. And so I specialize in helping people, figure out what to eat, how to take care of their body, but then also helping them actually follow through and do it. So I feel like my job's really like two parts. In the last, maybe 6 or 7 years, I had really bad gut issues during my first pregnancy. And I didn't love the care I got here as far as my options. And so that's really, I dove into the functional world of gut health. And so now I do a lot of work with that too. So it's like helping people feel better in their bodies and eat better. And then I also work with people who have like gut issues, irritable bowel syndrome, inflammatory bowel disease. So that's my practice. I love it. And I just feel so grateful I get to do it.
Okej, w Polsce, Renee, takie powiedzmy, że dosyć popularne trendy żywieniowe, to przede wszystkim teraz ogólnie u nas jest taka, powiedzmy, że może to trudno nazwać, ale jest taka moda na diety bezglutenowe, co ja uważam, że jeśli ktoś dobrze toleruje gluten, to nie powinien go eliminować. Bardzo jest teraz popularne są diety bez laktozy. Też rośnie zainteresowanie u nas bardzo mocno dietami takimi roślinnymi i ogólnie wegetariańskimi i wegańskimi. Jak to wygląda u Was w Stanach Zjednoczonych?
Yeah, I love, this is so interesting to me. I love hearing how it's different and similar there, because here there is a big trend on gluten and dairy free too. I agree. I work in the gut world, so I do have a lot of people that do need to take out gluten, but it definitely isn't for everyone. So I do see it as just a trend, like people think it's going to help them lose weight or be healthier, and that's not always the case. So there's kind of this trend in like gut awareness here, and maybe that's just kind of the realm I'm in, but not only like the lactose free and gluten free, but like also seeing this trend of like almost like these functional beverages, right? We have a lot of like prebiotic and probiotic drinks and the electrolyte drinks. So there's still kind of this feel of like wanting to fix it really quickly with like a product or a pill. Here, there is a big push now for plant-based, which I think is great because hopefully that's more fruits and vegetables and fiber for people. And then also too, I'm seeing another trend with protein, like high protein is another thing that I am seeing pretty regularly. So I would say similar to what's going on there with just a few additional pieces.
Renee, u nas w Polsce takim największym problemem, jaki zauważam, jest problem z cukrzycą i z insulinoopornością. Jest to też dosyć spory problem niestety u dzieci obecnie. Mamy również takie dosyć zauważalne, mocne problemy, jeśli chodzi o dnę moczanową, o problemy z ciśnieniem. No i też zauważam problemy takie mocno tarczycowe. Jakie zauważacie takie największe problemy u Was właśnie w Stanach Zjednoczonych, takie jeśli chodzi o jednostki chorobowe?
Yeah. I mean, they're really pretty similar, which is kind of surprising. I mean, obviously here, obesity and being overweight is a big issue. So just working on diet quality and lifestyle and diet habits is really important here. Also, the diabetes piece too is another big one here. So the insulin resistance, and I think we'll talk about it, but there's just a lot of sugar in our food system here, especially for kids. So I think that's a big problem. And then I forgot about this, but you mentioned this. Thyroid and hormone is also another big thing I'll see, especially in the women I work with. Keeping the hormones balanced and fluctuated. And I've just seen more and more issues with imbalanced hormones. And then also, I work a lot with gut health. So, that's something I'll see personally. But I really think the big ones are obesity and type 2 diabetes and heart health here too. So.
Okej. Pracujesz z pacjentami stosując jakieś diety, czy raczej ustalacie, powiedzmy, takie bardziej zalecenia żywieniowe, niekoniecznie na rozpisanych takich konkretnych kartkach, takich typowych dietach?
Oh, that's a great question. As far as like, am I restricting these foods or not? Was that the question? Like, am I taking them out, or am I helping them eat it in a way that's mindful? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so I feel like it's really two parts for me, right? One is like helping them with the plan, like what are we going to do, right? Are we going to reduce sugar? Are we going to reduce fat? Are we going to increase fruits and vegetables? And then the second part is really helping them do it. So the way I work is really helping them apply it and being practical. Obviously, as a dietitian, I want people to eat really well, but like I also, as a human being, want them to enjoy their lives. So if it's not practical, it's not going to work. And so it's just being realistic about the plan. And I want to make sure whatever I'm helping my clients implement is something that they could do not just now, but every day for the rest of their life, if that's what they wanted to do.
Renee, u nas w Polsce taką dosyć mocno popularną dietą jest dieta śródziemnomorska. Ja bardzo lubię ją stosować na takich, powiedzmy, że niższych indeksach glikemicznych. Również są dosyć popularne diety takiego typu jak ketogeniczna, dawniej Dukan. Jakie wy stosujecie najczęściej diety? Czy też to jest taka dieta śródziemnomorska, czy raczej może ketogeniczna właśnie, czy może Dukana, który już nie jest tak popularny, bo niestety już nie można tej diety tak jakoby gdzieś, powiedzmy, sprzedawać czy stosować. Bardzo jestem ciekawy, jakie jest właśnie u Was, jaką wy obieracie strategię?
Yeah, I think they're really similar. Intermittent fasting is also really popular here. So that's one I see often, and I have people wanting to eat that way. I would say plant-based is another big one here. Like, people are just wanting to go more plant-based in general. Doesn't necessarily mean full vegetarian or vegan, but just having more plants in their diet. And so I guess I can that and like Mediterranean are going together. And then ketogenic used to be really popular a few years ago. I'm not seeing it as often here. So I would say more plant-based, intermittent fasting. And then still, this concept of just macros, really like tracking the protein and the carbs and the fat is something I still feel like is pretty popular here.
Renee, jeśli stosujecie bardziej makroskładniki, to w takich proporcjach 50% węglowodanów, 30 białka, 20 tłuszczy, to w tym stylu idziecie, czy może w jakimś innym?
Yeah, so it's not, I don't even use that diet, I think, but I'll get people coming to me wanting to use that diet, or I feel like that's a diet people use here more like in like gyms, So if I'm getting people who are training a lot or in that world, they're really into macros. My approach is not so much counting calories or counting macros. It's more just looking at overall diet quality and increasing that. So it's a trend I see, but it's not one I necessarily work with to apply because really the way I work too is helping people more intuitively eat and having it less kind of come from like this external counting system, if that makes sense. Another one that I forgot to mention, though, that's really popular here, at least in the last few months, is, and it's not necessarily a diet, but it fits in this category, is weight loss medications. Like, I don't know what that's like there, but we have a product here called Ozempic, and I just am having more and more people wanting to go that route, too. I mean, I'm not necessarily for it or pro it. It's just, the trend is going up. Like there's definitely lots of people in America right now are wanting to be on that sort of medication if they're wanting to lose weight. So I think it was specifically designed, I think it was for insulin resistance. So essentially the people that take it, that their appetite gets suppressed too. So they're not eating a ton. So, I mean, I think it seems like it's this quick fix solution, but we don't know long term the effects of it. I've also had a few clients I've worked with who've gotten off of it and the weight has come right back up. So it's not it's not an approach I necessarily would recommend, but it is a trend here right now.
U nas w Polsce też są różnego typu modne, już zaczynają być modne leki. Dawniej, nadal można spotkać bardzo mocne suplementacje do diet, choć ja jestem zdania, że jeśli dieta jest dobrze zbilansowana, no to suplementacji nie potrzebuje. Jakie w ogóle masz zdanie na temat diet łączonych z suplementami?
Yeah, and I mean, I think supplements should never be in place of a balanced diet. I think it should be like a complement to a balanced diet if needed and if the data is there, right? So if I got blood work back and someone has really low vitamin D, maybe we would, supplement with vitamin D. So my approach with supplements is very individual and very targeted, and also using really high quality medical grade supplements. So I also, like in the gut world I work in, I do use supplements to treat and then pull people off the supplements. So I agree with Matt. I'm not a big fan of just all these supplements. I'm not a fan of like any one thing being like the magic thing that's going to fix everything. And nothing compares to a good diet and lifestyle.
No, myślę, że oczywiście masz rację, jeśli dieta jest nie na tyle wystarczająca, no to oczywiście należy dosuplementować. Nie wiem, przykład weganina, który musi suplementować witaminę B12. No ja sam jest okres u nas zimy, temperatury minus 20 stopni aktualnie, więc i D3 również suplementuję. Ale to i witaminę C, to są takie główne suplementacje, które stosuję i właściwie tak jak mówisz, jeśli w diecie brakuje tych suplementów, to faktycznie trzeba je gdzieś dostarczyć. U nas jest bardzo mocno zauważalny też taki trend szybkiego jedzenia, kupowania produktów, które można zrobić bardzo szybko, też korzystanie z fast foodów. No u Was to chyba już dużo wcześniej było jak u nas. Odchodzicie troszkę od tego, że jest coraz mniej osób korzystających z takiej bardzo szybkiej żywności, czy raczej idzie to w stronę negatywną?
I don't know if I think it's lower. Unfortunately, I think it's still pretty. I mean, I think it's the same thing. I think we just have this fast-paced lifestyle that doesn't really work for the human body, right? I think, in order to really nourish the body, we got to slow down a little bit. And so there is still a trend of a lot of snacking, a lot of fast food, a lot of eating on the go. Another like kind of trend there I'm seeing too is like meal delivery services. Where instead of like getting takeout or going to a restaurant, like having like food that's almost prepped, you just have to cook it, right? Or, food that's cooked. So meal delivery services are going up, which I think is a positive, right? Because if people are doing that over fast food, I think that's a good thing. But yeah, lots of on the go, skipping meals, eating out, still very, very popular here. Fast food still very popular here. Yes.
U nas, jak wybuchła u nas pandemia, zaobserwowałem bardzo duży problem u dzieci i młodzieży, gdzie wcześniej takiego problemu nie było. Czy u Was teraz też jest, zaobserwowałaś teraz dość duży, mocny problem właśnie u dzieci i nastolatków, jeśli chodzi o uwagę?
Yeah, I mean, the same thing. And I have two small kids. I have a 4 and a 6-year-old, so I have kids in this age group. And I mean, I think there's a lot of issues with it, right? I mean, definitely from the food, lots of sugar, lots of processed foods, and even like the food marketed for kids are some of the most unhealthy foods that we have, you know, in our market. So just like lots of sugar, also lots of food dyes, which, you know, I at least personally see in my kids, it makes their behavior so much worse too. And lots of tablet time here. I mean, I think it's too just this fast pace kind of go, 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 do, work, work, work is hard for the home family life too. So yeah, I see the same thing. I think where the pandemic made worse is that now parents were having to juggle working at home, taking care of their kids, feeding, like just, it was like too many jobs at once. It was too much at once. So yeah, I definitely think it made it worse. And yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okej. U nas w Polsce bardzo często można zaobserwować takie formy aktywności fizycznej jak spacery, w okresie letnim rower, Nordic walking. Dużo osób chodzi na siłownię, no, na basen. U Was pewnie wygląda to podobnie jak u nas?
Yeah. I mean, I love hearing about your guys' sports because it seems like it's a lot of outdoor stuff, which like I personally would enjoy. So like me personally, yes, I do a lot of activity. As far as like, I think more of a trend here that I see with exercise is like group classes, like a group like Pilates class or a group cycling class. So there's a lot more of that than like community exercise, if that makes sense. And it's really individualized. It's not like as a culture, we all are kind of doing it. It's like some people are really into it and do it. And some people are very sedentary too. So I don't think there's so much of a cultural trend in that, if that makes sense.
To są grupy, które spotykają się tak jakby znajomi, czy to jest coś na styl fitnessu?
Exactly. It's more of the gym and strangers meet together. We have less of a community activity pool, I would say.
Okej. U nas jest dosyć mocno teraz popularne jedzenie takie bardzo eko. Pomidory eko, ogórki eko, mięsa eko, jajka eko. Czy u Was również jest to popularne takie szukanie produktów bardzo ekologicznych?
I would say yes, we care about it for sure. It's not as organic, is pricier here. It's harder to get in some locations too. So yes, but I do think it's important. But like even when I'm working with people though, like my first priority is that they're getting a good quality diet, meaning they're getting plenty of fruits and vegetables, regardless if it's organic or not. Once someone's at that spot, then we can kind of have a conversation on organic, just because it is pricier and it's not in everyone's budget. So it doesn't seem like it's as readily available here as it is there. You know, there is definitely a push for getting food from local farmers, and farmers markets are really big. But again, there's a price difference. Oftentimes it's a lot more expensive to buy from the farmers than it is to buy from the grocery store. So that's a big thing too.
Tak jak u nas również produkty ekologiczne i organiczne są dużo droższe niż te normalne. Niestety w czasach takiej ogólnej inflacji no dużo osób wybiera te tańsze wersje, no niekoniecznie super ekologiczne i zdrowe, no ale widać też ten trend, powiedzmy, że szukania oszczędności. Staram się też dość mocno moim klientom sugerować, aby chipsy czy słone przekąski jak paluszki zamieniali na coś takiego dużo zdrowszego w stylu jakieś orzeszki czy jakieś owoce. I u Was, jakie są u Was takie popularne przekąski? Pewnie podobnie, nie jak u nas, ale chętnie posłucham, czy to jest takie bardzo zbliżone do siebie.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a big problem. And I think the reason it's easier to grab a bag of chips than it is to like cut up an apple or to cut up a bell pepper, right? So I understand, right? People are snacking because they're hungry and it's convenient. And so I work a lot with people to make sure that their kitchen is set up or their office is set up so healthy food is just as convenient as the less nutritious food like chips. So I totally agree. I mean, my recommendation is always to try to have at least one like real piece of food at the snack, right? So let's say someone, like you could do like an apple and cheese or, almond butter and celery. So it's really kind of focusing on one degree of like real food fiber and really balancing it out so blood sugar can be stable too. But I think the trick is making those healthy foods as convenient as the non-healthy foods.
Ja nie ukrywam, że również czasami też mam jakiś taki słabszy dzień, cheat day i zjem coś niekoniecznie zdrowego, nawet skorzystam z fast fooda czy z jakiegoś McDonalda. Czasami też wpadasz na jakieś takie niezdrowe jedzenie?
Yeah, I mean, I eat whatever I want. I don't have restrictions on myself necessarily, and that's what I try to teach my clients and patients too. So I don't necessarily have a cheat meal or a cheat day. It's like if let's say I'm wanting, I don't know, ice cream. I would eat ice cream, but I would eat it as a dessert after a meal. I wouldn't eat ice cream because I'm hungry. So a lot of what I work with too is like, why are you eating? Are you eating because you're hungry? Are you eating because you're bored? Are you eating because you want it? You want a dopamine hit, right? So it's kind of figuring out that and strategizing around it. But yeah, I mean, I don't personally have restrictions. My big thing is balancing it out. So even like if I want pizza, I might have a slice of pizza and a salad with, hard-boiled egg or salmon or chicken on it, right? I don't just eat a whole pizza, right? If that makes sense.
Jakie są u Was popularne używki? U nas bardzo długo nie wolno było pić, znaczy nie zalecało się picia kawy, teraz się to troszkę zmieniło i wiemy, że kawa jest dobra. Również lubię pić yerbę mate. Jak u Was jest z podejściem do takich używkowych tematów?
Yeah. I mean, I have coffee right now. So I love coffee. I drink a lot of coffee. I actually, in college, I did a research paper on the benefits of coffee, right? So I think, it's paying attention to the caffeine amount, right? But I think what a lot of people do in America is they're not just drinking black coffee, they're drinking these coffee drinks that are loaded with sugar, and that's more of the issue, right? And then also too, they're drinking them at all hours, so it's impacting their sleep quality at night. So again, I think it's kind of, obviously I love coffee, and so that's why I did my research paper on it. But yeah, I think coffee's fine, but it's what are you putting in it and kind of perimeters around having kind of a cutoff time so it's not impacting sleep quality, I think is really important. Tea is not as big here, herbal teas. I mean, I would say I think we really like drinks with a lot of sugar in it here. And so I just don't see as much herbal tea. I personally like tea. I drink tea, but same kind of things as coffee. It's like, what are you putting in it? And then is there caffeine in it or not? If that makes sense.
Ja również bardzo uwielbiam kawę, choć od ostatniego czasu właśnie próbuję też yerby i powiem szczerze, że dosyć pozytywnie jestem zaskoczony. Jakie są popularne takie mity żywieniowe w Stanach? U nas bardzo często można spotkać, że osoby na przykład nie jedzą po godzinie 18, czy uważają, że od ziemniaków się tyje, czy na przykład, że produkty bezglutenowe są zdrowsze. Jest dużo u nas takich mitów właśnie żywieniowych, czy jakieś okna żywieniowe w stylu, że nie jemy praktycznie cały dzień, żeby się przez 2 godziny najeść. Jakie są u Was takie popularne mity żywieniowe?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're really similar to that. I mean, the gluten-free one, I think organic is another one too. I mean, organic is healthier, but an organic cookie is still a cookie, right? And so just by buying organic doesn't necessarily mean that your diet is all of a sudden healthier. It's like, what are those foods? I think here too, there's just a lot of fear around food. Like no one really learned how to actually eat and take care of their bodies. And so Another thing I see too is like people think that the path to well-being and health is one of sacrifice and misery in a way, right? It's like you have to be miserable to get to this spot. And I think that's a huge myth. I think you can get to this place of vitality and health and actually feel good along the way too. So yeah, that's another thing. And I think also too, we have this like, again, with the medication, it's just this like one thing's going to fix everything. I don't think health works like that. I think there's multiple things involved. And I also think you have to look at lifestyle and like as a whole and really put all the pieces together.
Jest też u Was taki popularny mit, że głodując, mając głodówkę, po prostu schudniesz, bo no ja z doświadczenia wiem, że głodując to więcej przytyjesz, aniżeli schudniesz. Jest ten mit u Was też taki popularny, że głodujecie?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. People, yes.
Okay. U nas również w Polsce jest dosyć popularna taka aktywność fizyczna, nazywa się to morsowanie. Czy u Was również jest ten trend teraz taki na zamaczanie się w lodowatej wodzie, żeby walczyć o swoją odporność?
Yeah, I mean, this is so interesting to me because it's like the cold trend is here too, but like I don't see as many people going to the rivers and lakes to do it. People are like getting ice baths to do it in their home. So there is kind of this trend of like the cold plunges and also like the red light therapy and saunas. I'm seeing that, but it's so funny to me because you guys do it going in nature and we just like bring these devices in our homes.
U nas też jest taka forma właśnie morsowania, że jesteś w saunie, a później właśnie idziesz do takiej lodowatej wody. Mega miło słyszeć, że jednak czy to Polska właśnie, czy też Stany Zjednoczone mamy dosyć podobne te nasze takie formy podejścia do żywienia. Bardzo fajnie to jest słyszeć, bo jednak no, po prostu podobnie na to patrzymy. Renee, a może Ty masz do nas tutaj w Polsce, do mnie jakieś pytania, może Cię coś intryguje, chciałabyś się coś dowiedzieć?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just so interested. I love even this whole concept. I mean, I'm just curious how you like work with clients or patients in general. Like, do you meet with them one time? Do you work with them over a period of time? Like, how do you work with people to make these changes in Poland?
Ogólnie wygląda to w ten sposób, że ja się spotykam z każdą osobą indywidualnie, rozmawiamy o jej preferencjach żywieniowych i dostaje ode mnie taką gotową właśnie rozpiskę, taki gotowy jadłospis, w którym są pewne dni rozpisane, gramy, przepisy i ona sobie tą dietę stosuje, po czym mamy regularne spotkania kontrolne, na których sprawdzamy jej efekty, aż po prostu uzyska ten efekt, który chciała. Tak to przynajmniej wygląda u nas tutaj w Polsce. Przynajmniej ja tak prowadzę swoich klientów. Dodatkowo również bardzo proszę każdego o wykonanie pewnych badań krwi, z których jestem w stanie dopasować powiedzmy odpowiedniejszą tą dietę, jak na przykład właśnie glukoza, czy insulina, czy próby wątrobowe. Bardzo zawsze każdego proszę o zrobienie tych badań, żeby właśnie na podstawie nich taką dietę wykonać, no bo też nie ukrywajmy, jeśli ktoś ma jakiekolwiek tam problemy z nadwagą czy z otyłością, no to zazwyczaj coś tam wyjdzie niestety nie tak. A jak to wygląda u Was?
Yeah. So I mean, a similar way. So when I work with people, and I've kind of changed it throughout the years since, again, I've been doing this for a while. And so now I tend to, when someone signs up with me, we'll work together like for a minimum of 3 months together. And so we'll meet every other week for the period of that 3 months. And I agree. I like to have them start with a physician to get blood work and really just to make sure we know what we're dealing with, right? Like if someone's really tired, we're going to want to make sure that, we have all the labs for that or what's going on. And so I'll meet with them, we'll figure out what's going on now. And then I help them come up with a plan. So there is like, I'll give them recipe and meal ideas. Also too, I mean, some of my work is really helping them with practical stuff, like how to grocery shop for the week, how to meal plan, how to navigate going out to eat, how to navigate traveling, really just how to navigate all these situations. And so when I work with someone, we're in pretty close contact for those 3 to 4 months, and then they can continue on with me, but most of them really have those skills in that time. And then I also run different kind of groups too, where, you know, we come together and kind of have this community setting to talk through some of this stuff, which is really cool too, because a lot of these people, it can feel like a really lonely journey, and I think community is really helpful for that.
To podobnie też wygląda to u nas, czyli jesteś taki jakby dla kogoś wsparciem, ktoś może do ciebie napisać, zapytać się o coś, jak ma jakiś problem, po prostu jesteś. Ja z każdym klientem pracuję tak, że faktycznie jak on jest na jakiejś diecie, jeśli konkretnej diecie rozpisanej, jak się faktycznie musi odchudzać, natomiast jak już zakończy swoją walkę o wagę, to raczej jest właśnie na takim czymś, jak ty stosujesz u pacjentów, czyli na takich bardziej zasadach żywieniowych, na takich, no coś w ten deseń, że niekoniecznie kartka, co bardziej styl życia. Bywają u ciebie pacjenci, którzy chcą na wadze przytyć, a niekoniecznie schudnąć? Wiem, że pewnie jest ich mniej, ale przynajmniej u mnie jest ich mniej, ale czy masz takie osoby?
Yeah, I would say it's very rare. Like I'll maybe get one or two people a year where that's kind of what they're dealing with. But yeah, it does happen sometimes. How about you?
Bardzo, bardzo podobnie jest u nas, właśnie jest tych osób bardzo, bardzo mało. Raczej większość osób chce tą wagę zgubić. Ile u ciebie najwięcej osoba zeszczuplała? Masz jakąś taką, powiedzmy, rekordową wagę, którą udało wam się pokonać?
Yeah, I mean, probably. I think my real specialty, though, I mean, I will help people lose large amounts of weight. I mean, I would say maybe like 60 to 80 pounds would be kind of some of my, but like my kind of where I really work too is people wanting to lose almost like kind of 20 or 30 pounds or less, but it's also too with just their relationship with their body and their relationship with food. And when we really kind of focus on that, everything shifts as well.
U mnie takim ostatnią właśnie metamorfozą, która była taka w mojej karierze, powiedzmy, że największa, to jest 80 kilo. Pan Jan, który walczył 1,5 roku i ani razu nie odpuścił swoich, powiedzmy, swoich rozpisów, swojej diety.
Amazing. So what's like his strategy with that? So is he like, are people just overeating and he's helping them undereat? Is it counting calories? Is it just following his plan? Is he willing to share any of his kind of his...
Moją strategią było głównie właśnie, powiedzmy, że kierowanie pana Jana z dietą, konkretną dietą, która była rozpisana właśnie na kaloryczności, w której były rozpisane również węglowodany, białka, tłuszcze, no ogólnie makroskładniki, witaminy, minerały. No u mnie przynajmniej taką, no ja bazuję głównie właśnie na kaloryczności. Renee, pracujesz z pacjentami bardziej na zasadzie online, czy spotykacie się faktycznie tak jakby twarzą w twarz? Bo u nas raczej popularne jest, znaczy ja jestem bardzo dużym zwolennikiem tego, żeby się z każdym spotkać. Zaczyna być popularna wersja online. Czy u was bardziej online, czy takie face to face?
Yeah, I mean, same. I think people probably prefer face to face here. However, I only work remotely. I started doing that when I had my kids. I just wanted to be home with them. And so I would, and I breastfed both of my kids. And so I would schedule clients in between sessions. We're long past that and I just never got out of it. I like to be here when they come home from school. I like to get them off to school. And so it just makes the most sense for me to meet with clients at home while, that is happening. So yeah, I used to have a practice in Chicago, but also I work with people all over. Like in America, we have to be licensed based on our state, right? So I'm in Indiana, so I have to be licensed as a dietitian in Indiana. I work with people in Chicago, so I have to be licensed as a dietitian in Illinois. So it's kind of tricky how that works, but I work with people all over the United States as well.
Jak to jest, bo na przykład ja mogę sobie, załóżmy, otworzyć poradnię dietetyczną w całej Polsce, mogę się przemieszczać między miastami. Jak to jest u was? Powiedziałeś, że masz jakąś licencję. Jak to wygląda? Ty możesz tylko przyjmować w tych kilku miastach i więcej nie masz? Masz tam jakiś zakaz? Jak to wygląda u was? Na przykład ogólnie my mamy nie stany, a województwa i jestem obecnie w województwie małopolskim. Myśmy sobie pisali w mailach, że masz jakąś rodzinę dawną chyba w Wielkopolsce i ja mogę dzisiaj przyjmować w Małopolsce, a jutro jechać do Wielkopolski i również tam mieć poradnię dietetyczną, więc u Was Wy tak nie możecie sobie między stanami po prostu jeździć, tak my między województwami.
Yeah. So it's not, there's no consistent like licensure in America. Some states you have to have a licensure to practice as a dietitian, some states you don't. So if it like, I'm not sure about Miami, like where Florida is, but like if you needed to be licensed as a dietitian in Florida, I would essentially just have to pay money to get that licensure. I don't have to take any other exams. The only thing I have to keep up on is my like dietetic registration. And so every 5 years here, I have to complete like 75 continuing hours to uphold my dietetic registration. But then that's separate from then being licensed in each state. It's tricky and it honestly doesn't make a lot of sense. So.
Czyli rozumiem, że musisz mieć licencję, aby przyjmować w innych miastach. Jaki jest koszt takiej licencji, aby być gdzie indziej, w innym mieście, w innym stanie?
Yeah, I mean, you need to, and that's a big difference in America. Like, obviously, I'm a dietitian, so, you know, there's certain schooling I had to do, and then I have to take an RD exam, and then I have to keep up with my hours with the, you know, credentialing, you know, whatever academy that, you know, they call themselves. But then the licensure piece, I think the money just depends. Like I'm thinking it was like maybe $100 for Illinois. I forget what Indiana was. You have to show that you're a dietitian to get the licensure. Like you have to show that. And then you do have to keep up with hours for the licensure, but it's less than the like RD, the dietitian regulatory body. So I never even worry about it because I just keep up with this one, if that makes sense.
Dietetyka jest bardzo popularna w Stanach Zjednoczonych, czy jest to raczej taki niszowy zawód?
No, I would not say so. I wouldn't say it's so popular. No, I wouldn't say. I love it. I would never, I mean, I would do this regardless of what I was doing, but I wouldn't say it's a very popular field. How about in Poland?
W Polsce, ja mieszkam w takiej miejscowości niedaleko większej, która liczy 80 000 mieszkańców i tam jest, no obstawiam, że pewnie w okolicach 10 dietetyków, więc jest to naprawdę, no jest to u nas popularne. Zaczyna być na pewno bardzo mocno.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's so interesting. Is it hard to get clients there? Like with the ratio of dietitians to...
Teraz jest nowy rok, więc jest zauważalne u nas takie jakby postanowienia noworoczne. Dużo osób chce schudnąć, udaje się na siłownię, więc teraz jest jakoby taki sezon. Natomiast no, przez pandemię, inflację, no jest powiedzmy, że troszkę trudniej na rynku, ale jest co robić. Obecnie ja też prowadzę poradnię dietetyczną, jestem dietetykiem już od ponad 8 lat. Ty jesteś ile lat? 14, tak?
Yeah. Good math. Oh, I was like, that was right. Yes, 14 years, which is great. I love it too. I mean, even if I was doing another job, I would be a dietitian. I'd probably still be talking to people about their body and food and what they're eating. So I just feel so lucky. I actually get to like do this for a living.
Zawsze chciałaś być dietetykiem, czy miałaś inne plany?
No, I mean, I either wanted to be a dietitian or like a personal trainer. I really loved the body physically and working with it. And in high school, I knew nothing about food and nutrition. And I remember once my mom just telling me, she was like, you know, there's more than food to just the calories, like there's nutrients in it. And I never heard of nutrients before. I was in high school and it just blew my mind. And so I just had to know everything that there possibly was about food and the science of food and how it works in the body and metabolism. And I never stop learning. It's my favorite thing about this field is that we're constantly growing and evolving and learning and changing.
U nas zaczynają być popularne cateringi dietetyczne, takie gotowa dieta pod drzwi. Jest coś u was takiego?
Right. Yeah. And sometimes too, it's like people will spend less money on those meals. I'm actually part of this year. One of my to-do for this month is I want to try out all these meals so I can really kind of give my honest feedback to my clients on which ones are good or not. Because there's a ton of them here too.
Miałem taki epizod w swojej karierze, w swojej firmie, że miałem taki catering właśnie dietetyczny. Niestety było to lokalne, więc ceny były za wysokie dla klientów, ale również nawet na swoim kanale na YouTubie teraz testuję różne właśnie cateringi dietetyczne, aby móc tak jak ty polecać swoim klientom.
Yeah, I will, because that's what I want to do too. I even want to pair up with some of these companies and because for some of these companies you can go on and you can click, okay, I want vegetarian meals, or I want paleo meals, or I want keto meals, and I want there to be a dietitian approved meals where I go on and kind of, so they can easily kind of go and assess it.
A jest u was również, bo u nas widać tą tendencję, jest popularne na przykład, że zastępują niektórzy całodzienne swoje wyżywienie, wszystkie produkty po prostu gotowym suplementem i wypijają i pędzą dalej?
No. I mean, there's some category of people doing it. I don't think it's very popular or people want to do it like we like to eat here. So I think that's hard for a lot of people. It's not super popular here.
Masz zamiar odwiedzić nas kiedyś tutaj w Polsce?
I would love to. I never have, but I would love to visit Poland. I would definitely come see you guys.
Moim marzeniem jest przejechać 66 motocyklem, więc pewnie kiedyś odwiedzę Stany Zjednoczone. Mam zamiar to zrealizować, także może się kiedyś spotkamy na żywo.
My door's always welcome. If he comes, he better let me know because I will definitely meet him. I would love that. I love the dream. Cool. Yeah, I love it.
Renee, czy masz jeszcze do nas tutaj w Polsce do mnie jakieś pytanka?
No, but I love this. I'm so glad he did it. And will you tell him too? This has just been so fun for me, and so I'm just so glad that he set this up and did this. So thank you.
Renee, bardzo ci dziękuję za spotkanie. Fajnie było przez chwilę przenieść się tam do was, być tam u was i posłuchać, jak to wy właśnie działacie w Stanach Zjednoczonych. Bardzo miło było cię spotkać, poznać i mam nadzieję, że do zobaczenia już na żywo kiedyś tam w Stanach Zjednoczonych.
Yeah, thank you so much. I've loved this. And I'm always here if he has questions or want to chat about anything food, nutrition related. So thank you so much.